Here is a fact. If you want to earn money online, then digital products is one of the fastest and easiest ways to do so. What's going on? My name is Zach Tyler, and I'm here to help you transform your creativity into a thriving online business. Now, whether you're new to the world of digital entrepreneurship or you're just looking to expand your offerings, digital products are a great way to do so. And in today's video, we're going to dive into going over some of the most common types of digital products, the pros and cons of each, and then how you can decide which product is right for you to get started building. So one of the most common struggles that people have when it comes to building digital products is simply deciding which type it is that they're going to create. With so many options, it can lead to overwhelm and analysis paralysis, because if you're anything like me, then when you are overwhelmed with too many options, then you end up just not doing anything. Now, one of the biggest reasons that many entrepreneurs struggle to decide on a digital product is actually the fear of making the wrong decision, right? It's that back and forth in your mind of, oh, which one's gonna make me the most money? Which one's gonna have the most success? And the truth is, all of them work. They all can make you money. It really just comes down to 1, taking action, 2, putting it together, and 3, meeting a market demand. So depending on what type of content or what type of product you're trying to create or what market or niche you're in, then that may have a significant effect on what type of product is going to do best for you. In addition to your creative style, right? Some people really like writing. Some people really like creating videos. And so a lot of that is going to come in play as well. So let's take a look at 7 of the most common types of digital products, starting with ebooks. Now, I'm sure you have heard of ebooks. As the word suggests, it is electronic books, right? These are going to be digital versions of traditional books that can be read on electronic devices such as your Kindle, your iPad, your phone, your computer, right? Stuff like that. Now, the benefits of creating and selling ebooks are that they have a low production cost, right? It costs pretty much nothing to make an ebook. If you can sit and type on a computer or type on your phone or type on a tablet or laptop or whatever, you can create an ebook. So low production cost. They can establish you as an expert in your niche, right? Or an expert in a particular field. So if you have a lot of skills or expertise or experience in a particular field, it can basically give you authority in that field by presenting you as an expert. They're also extremely easy to distribute. You can put them on platforms like Amazon, Gumroad, or host them on your own website as just a few examples. Now, some of the cons of ebooks are, 1, they are a highly competitive market, right? Because it is so easy to create them, there is a lot of ebooks. So you've got that high competitive market. Price expectations are also extremely low. Again, because they're super easy to create and there are a lot of them, prices are typically on the lower side. And so therefore, if you want to make a significant amount of money, you have to sell more of them compared to offering something like a digital course, which we'll get into. And then they also can take significant time to research, edit, and put together. Now, that time can be significantly reduced nowadays with tools like AI tools like ChatGPT and things like that, but there is still a lot of editing that needs to go into it. Don't try to create an entire book using ChatGPT and just copy and paste from ChatGPT, put together, and try to sell it, because I promise you it's not going to work. There is a lot of effort and editing and time that needs to go into the overall creation of the final product. Next, we'll look at digital product number 2, and that is online courses. So online courses are my personal favorite. This is the very first digital product that I personally ever released for sale, and the online course market has increased exponentially over the last few years as more people have decided that maybe college is not for them, because in my personal opinion, it's a waste of money and a waste of time. You can get a lot more value for a lot less money going through a course of somebody who has actually done the thing that you're trying to do, rather than learning theory from professors. Online courses also allow you to package your knowledge into a structured educational experience, and they are available 24/7, right? Now, which I guess technically all of digital products can be available 24/7 for the most part, but these are best suited for creators, professionals, educators, or people with lived experience that you can teach people how to do something. So the pros of online courses, a few of them I kind of mentioned already, high perceived value, okay? So you're gonna be able to charge more prefer for courses because there's a lot more detail, there's a lot more in-depth knowledge, and typically video versus just reading, right? They can be updated or reused for different platforms or for different audiences. And then it also gives you the opportunity to not only build your authority, kind of like ebooks, but also to build your personal brand, to build a community and things like that. Now, cons of online courses is they require a significant upfront time investment to create. You also need some minimal technical, either you need minimal technical skills, right? Or you need to hire somebody who has technical skills. So again, if we're doing an online course, it's probably going to be a video course. And so you're going to need some basic video editing skills, some basic on-screen camera understanding, right? Lighting setup, stuff like that, maybe some minimal technical equipment. Now, granted, you can do a lot of stuff nowadays with like an iPhone or an Galaxy or, whatever. You don't necessarily need expensive camera equipment, but depending on how much you're going to be charging for the course or what the course is covering, you may need different angles, different cameras, stuff like that. Sometimes you need continuous updates and support depending on what the course is offering. And then also some hosting platforms can be expensive. Again, especially if it's got video content. Video content is difficult to host. There's places that need to be able to host video content in order for it to run, depending on how many students you have and stuff like that. So some platforms can be expensive for hosting courses like that. Now, there are some platforms where it can be cheaper, like Udemy or Teachable, stuff like that. But depending on how in-depth you're going and depending on what features you're looking for, then some of those platforms may or may not work for you. Like I said, online courses are my personal favorite. To me, they are the most bang for your buck and also the most passive income product. In my personal opinion, they're also the easiest to make the most money in a short amount of time. My very first product I ever made was an online course, which was how to build passive income streams using WordPress, using niche WordPress blogs. That product, I no longer sell it. It's actually available for free on my website under our free training section. So if that is something you're interested in checking out, then feel free to use the link down below this video or visit zylerkid.com. Digital product number 3 is going to be a subscription service. So if you're watching this, I'm sure you're familiar with online subscription services, right? Whether it be through your phone, different apps if you're subscribed to, or if you create content, maybe different content creation tools. For example, Adobe, the Adobe Photoshop Premiere Suite, right? They have a monthly subscription service to use all of their different creative tools. There are places like Artlist, which I use to get music for videos. There are places like Storyblocks, which I get stock video content, right? These are all different subscription services that offer special or exclusive content. A couple of other examples might be ChatGPT. If you're a ChatGPT user, a ChatGPT Plus user, I have a membership to that. I also use an AI-powered project management tool called Tascade, which is fantastic. If you're looking for a project management tool that incorporates AI into it, then I will leave a link for that below as well. Or, for example, there's people like Brett Williams and his company DesignJoy, who offers a monthly subscription to companies for unlimited graphic design and graphic related products. Web design, if you offer, web design services, then you could do a one-off project, or you could have a monthly subscription service where you maintain websites for your customers and they just pay you a monthly fee, right? So these are a bunch of different examples of subscription-based services. Now, a few pros of these are obviously recurring revenue, right? As long as you keep your customers coming back every month, you have that continuous revenue. Usually a high customer lifetime value. Again, if you're providing good quality service and your customers want to stay, then it makes the lifetime value of your customers that much more. And then you can also build a loyal customer base, kind of following the same line. Now, some of the cons of a subscription-based service is you're going to have higher customer service demands, right? If people are paying for a monthly service, they want that service to be perfect all the time. Requires consistent content creation or consistent updates to the platform, to the service, whatever it may be. And then it can also be challenging to attract and retain new customers. So those are just some of the negatives of that. I personally have never done a subscription-based type service thing. To me, it's way too much work and not enough value unless, you've got like a team working for you. But as a solopreneur, not something that I personally think would work for me, at least. Product number 4 is kind of on the similar lines, and this is going to be software and apps. So in the same way that you can have a subscription-based service, which is just services, you can also have software and apps, which can either be a one-time purchase or a subscription-based app. So these are obviously going to be for the more tech-savvy people, and that monetization ways can include selling software licenses, offering subscription services, like I said, or providing in-app purchases services. So if you think of like the video games on your phone, which I do not play, but for anybody who's familiar or plays the free games on your phone, typically they have things that you can buy in game, which is how the app actually makes money. Or advertising. Think of apps like Facebook or social media profiles, right? All social media platforms, most of them that I know of, are free, but they make money through ad revenue. Now, pros of building and selling apps are going to be the high potential for scalability and profitability. You can make a lot of money if you can create an app that solves a very niche or specific problem for a lot of people. And then it has an opportunity for recurring revenue through subscriptions, in-app purchases, or, again, ad revenue. Cons, high development costs and time investment, right? So it's going to cost a lot of time and money unless you can do it all yourself. Requires technical expertise or needing to hire somebody, kind of like developing the online course, right? If you don't have the technical skills of working with cameras, then you're going to need to hire somebody to do that to build an online course. Same thing with this. If you don't have the technical skills to know how to code an app from scratch, then you're going to need to hire somebody. And then continuous maintenance, security, updates, etc. Number 5, we have stock photography and graphics sites. So if you're photographer or a graphic designer, right, you can create images, create graphics if you have skills with Photoshop or things like that. There are websites where you can upload your digital media and it can be purchased from people who subscribe to that service, and then you get paid based on however many downloads you get, stuff like that. Now, pros of selling this, I don't know anybody who does this. I know it's a thing, but I personally do not know anybody who's done it or anybody who has made a decent amount of money off of it. But obviously you can leverage your existing skills and creative skill set, passive income potential through multiple sites, and then there are multiple platforms available for uploading your creative media like Shutterstock, Adobe Stock. Now, cons of doing photography and graphics is kind of like the books, highly competitive market. As I mentioned, also earnings can be relatively low because you need a lot of people to download your stuff in order to make any decent money, unless you're selling like a professional photographer who is selling prints, like print on demand or canvas or things like that off your own website, then maybe it can be a little bit more lucrative. And then also requires high quality and a unique content to stand out, right? There's a million photographers in the world, so it's just a very saturated, very competitive market. Product number 6 can be audio products and music, so kind of similar to the graphics and photography, audio products. And this can be music tracks, sound effects, podcasts, audiobooks, right? Anything that can be hosted on like Spotify, Apple Music, Audible can be considered an audio product. Now, pros of this is going to be passive income potential from royalties in multiple platforms, can be repurposed, right? And then growing demand for audio content because there's a growing demand for all types of content nowadays, especially royalty-free and stuff like that. Now, cons of creating and selling music in these products is they require specialized skills and equipment, again, similar to a lot of these other ones. Competitive market with varying income potential, and then it can also be very time-consuming to produce high-quality content that people actually want. So it's not only about creating the content, but it's about creating content that people are actually willing to buy, which is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? But in addition to what you would typically think of like music, like streaming music and artists, there's also options for like sync licensing, which is creating sounds and creating music specifically for TV, specifically for movies, YouTube libraries, right? Stuff like that. And so there is that kind of like dynamic aspect of it where you don't necessarily need to have the desire to become this, super popular musician who gets streamed on Spotify, gets a million streams. You could just want to focus on sync licensing, uploading your created tracks to sync licensing platforms, and then typically what they'll do on those platforms is they'll either pay you for exclusive rights to it, which could be $5,000 or $10,000, $15,000 for one track, depending on the budget of the production, or if it's not an exclusive license and it can be used in multiple, platforms, and maybe it'll be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Again, the quality of the music has to be good, but there's that other opportunity of getting sync licensing deals through these platforms rather than trying to bank on streams. Because streams, in the same way you need to sell a lot of pictures, right, from the photography aspect in order to make any decent money. In order to make any decent money on like Spotify or Apple Music, from my understanding, is that you have to get a lot of streams, right? You have to have a huge following in order to make any real decent money. So learning about sync licensing is kind of an alternate option to that, or maybe it's going to be a little bit easier to make decent money if you're creating high quality audio products. And then last but not least, we have number 7, which is going to be membership sites. So membership sites build communities around a niche topic. We kind of touched on this briefly when we talked about online courses, but this is going to be where members pay a recurring fee for exclusive access to content or services. These are going to be best for people who like content creators, kind of in the similar of online courses also, people who enjoy creating content, people who know how to create content and are going to be doing it consistently. Think of, things like, love it or hate it, OnlyFans, right? OnlyFans is a perfect example of a membership site. Patreon, which is like the original kind of subscription service or membership service for like YouTubers back in the day, although I think it's still pretty popular. But so those are going to be like membership sites, or even now a lot of the social media platforms. For example, Instagram has, private subscriber content. YouTube has exclusive subscriber content, right? So a lot of these sites have incorporated membership site aspects to their platforms where subscribers get exclusive access that they pay for from the creators. Now, pros of building these, you're building a strong, engaged community, right? These are going to be your most avid supporters. Recurring revenue from membership fees, so kind of similar to the subscription-based service, right? And then you can bundle various types of content. So for example, courses, webinars, exclusive articles, interviews, maybe just like direct chatting, right? If you are a big influencer and people want to, chat one-on-one with you or in a smaller group setting, then having one of these set up, maybe like a school community or something like that, would be a good way to like monetize that and create that stronger community engagement. Now, cons of these are going to be, again, requiring continuous content and value and updates regularly. Now, if you're doing this already anyway, that's not a problem, right? But if creating content is something foreign to you, or you don't have the time or energy or desire to necessarily do something continuously every day, every week, every month, then probably not going to be something that you want to get into. There's also platform and maintenance costs, which can be high depending on which platform you use. Again, a lot of social media platforms incorporate this now, so not so much a problem. But then also high customer support demands, right? If people are paying for a subscription to access to you and you're not creating enough content or what they deem enough to be paying what they're paying for, or they're not getting what they were expecting, it can be hard to maintain customers or keep customer satisfaction high. So if you're still with me, I appreciate it. I know that was a little long-winded, but wanted to cover those 7 digital products really quickly. Now that we've kind of covered the main 7, the top 7 that I can think of digital products, now it's time to ask, how do we decide which one is right for you? This, again, is one of the biggest problems that a lot of people struggle with, is they're like, which one's going to work best for me? Well, they all technically work, right? You can make money from all of them, but which one is actually going to work best for you comes down to a combination of things. So the first thing you're going to want to do is assess your skills and interests. You're going to want to choose a digital product that aligns with your expertise and your passion. So for example, if you love reading and you're on Medium all the time, or you read articles all the time, then maybe writing, right, like an ebook is going to be the thing that works best for you. Same thing, if you have technical skills and you love creating content, you know how to use a camera, you enjoy creating video content like Instagram Reels and TikToks, or maybe you're just on TikTok all the time, or you're on Instagram all the time, and that's just the type of content you consume, then maybe that's going to be what type of content you should focus on making. Same thing with YouTube. If you're more of a long video, like I personally, YouTube is probably my favorite platform. I watch YouTube videos all the time, hence why I like making YouTube videos, or why I like making videos in general. So identify your strengths, but also your interests and your resources. If you don't have a camera or a phone, then maybe making videos is not going to be the thing that you can focus on. But then again, if you have a laptop, you don't even necessarily need to do your face, right? If you're going to teach somebody how to do something on a computer, all you need is some free screen recording software like OBS or Open Broadcast software. So these are the things that you're going to want to ask yourself. So that's number 1, assessing your skills and your interests. Number 2 is going to be thinking about your ideal audience. So get personal and think about yourself. What works best for you, or what has worked best for you? We just kind of covered that a little bit in step 1, but here is a secret tip and something that you should think about. You are your target audience, okay? I like to remember it like this. Talk to yourself, write to yourself, build for yourself, and sell to yourself. So think about yourself as your target audience. But with that being said, if you're going to be creating business content for business professionals, corporate America, most corporate America people are not consuming business stuff on TikTok, right? They're usually doing it from LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is that type of audience. audience. Whereas if your target audience is digital nomads and people who want to travel the world and live the digital nomad lifestyle, then TikTok and Instagram might be better suited for you. So even though you want to think about yourself, and what you'll typically find is that your target audience and what kind of content you consume and what kind of content you want to create, they usually all, it's like a Venn diagram, they all usually kind of intermingle together. You can usually find one that's like, oh, okay, yes, that's where my target audience is because I am my target audience and that's where I am. So yes, think about where you are, but if you are stepping outside of your norm, then that's when you kind of need to think about like, okay, where is my target audience? If my target audience is, 55-year-old or 65-year-old grandparents, then Facebook is probably your platform that you should be focusing on. Whereas if you're looking at millennials, then maybe Instagram, right? So that's just something else that you're going to think about, is figure out where your target audience is. Step number 3 is going to be evaluate market demand. So you're going to want to see and research, which digital products are currently popular and profitable within your niche or within what it is that you're trying to do. So you can use tools like ChatGPT, Google Trends, keyword search, right? And look for gaps in the market where your skills can provide unique value. Again, I always like to refer back to the think about yourself, talk to yourself, build for yourself, sell to yourself. When you were searching or when you've searched for a product or something to help you solve whatever problem it is that you're now trying to help people solve, where did you struggle to find stuff, right? Like what kind of content or what kind of products did you struggle to find that, where you were trying to find to help you resolve that issue? If you couldn't find a specific type of product or you couldn't find it on a specific type of platform or couldn't find it in a specific style of content, then maybe that is the little niche, the little in the gap that you are looking for that you can fill. Step number 4 is going to be to consider the level of resources and effort required. So again, this kind of goes back to your skill level and your interests and how much time and effort you want to put into this, right? If you have 0 skills with a camera, you can learn those skills, but it is not going to be the fastest way for you to get going, right? If the only skills you have right now are writing, then maybe, despite everything else that we just talked about, maybe writing is going to be the place that you need to start while you work on learning the camera skills. Same is true the opposite way, right? If you've got great camera skills, you are horrible at writing, well then maybe focus on the platform, short form videos or long form videos, and start building it up there while you learn better writing, right? Like every skill can be developed over time, but focus on the skill that is going to get you the best results fastest. And to get the best results fast, you want to use a skill that you already have or something that you have a little bit of knowledge or skill or experience in, right? You don't want to be starting from scratch. So if you've never built a website, if you've never written a blog article, then doing a blog or an ebook is probably not for you. You should probably focus on creating visual content, video content, so maybe an online course, and sticking with like Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. Also time, right? How much time do you have? Putting an online course together and video content and recording it all, editing it, planning it, whatever, that takes a lot of time, right? Whereas creating Instagram shorts or TikToks is going to be a much faster way to do it. Faster than maybe saying creating YouTube videos. It's about finding this healthy balance of what skills and experience do I already have and what's going to play best to my strengths. One of those strengths being how much time do you have? How much money do you have, right? If you're starting from scratch and you have $0 to invest, then you might want to focus on a product that costs nothing to start, such as an ebook. Like costs nothing to host, really. It's almost completely free to write an ebook and host it somewhere. You can host it on Amazon for free. They just take a percentage of the profit. So if you already have existing products though, or you have money to invest, right, or you have a lot of time to work on something, then that might be when it makes more sense to put something together like a membership site, an online course, etc. And then looking from the perspective of like what resources do you already have when it comes to social media? Do you already have a large following? If you do, then maybe a membership site is going to be easier for you because that's something you can instantly tap into if you already have an existing audience. Whereas if you're completely starting from scratch on social media and have no existing audience, then you might want to focus on something like an ebook, because an ebook is going to be a much smaller investment. It's going to cost a lot less, and it's going to be easier to get people who are just learning about you to invest in something at a small price versus people who already know you and investing in a higher value product like an online course or a membership. So these are just different ways you want to think about it. And then last, number 5, is you're going to want to think about the long-term potential. So this is not super important. This is not so important in my personal opinion, but it's just thinking about the scalability and long-term potential of your product. So if this is something that you just kind of like want to put together and put it up and then start promoting it, but like don't have to think too much about it long term, then you're going to want to be focusing on something a little bit more simple, like an ebook. Whereas if you want to like really build up a product that's going to be your baby and you're going to, you know, nurture it and grow it and build it and put all of your energy into it over a long period of time, then maybe that's where a membership site, online course, stuff like that makes a little bit more sense to put your effort and money into. Thinking about, again, long-term potential, subscription services and membership sites often provide a more steady recurring income, whereas like ebooks and online courses are typically a one and done cost thing. So these are just other things to consider when it comes to thinking about long-term potential. Now let's crush some of the limiting beliefs about digital products, okay? It is one of the most common beliefs about digital products is that you need to be an expert or you need to have a massive following to earn a living with digital products, and this could not be further from the truth. Problem is that there are so many crappy products out there that it is sometimes given a bad rep. So people have these ideas that it's either scammy or that you can't actually make any money with it, or that it just, you know, is super hard to do, because the truth is that 99% of people just don't put in enough time and energy to actually get it to see it to fruition. Your unique experience, your skills, your knowledge are valuable, and you can earn money from them when done the right way. There are people willing to pay you for you to help them get from where they are to where you are. Most people nowadays want to learn and want to buy from somebody who is just a few steps ahead of them in some process. We're not buying from Jeff Bezos here, right? If I were to try to go learn from Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, there would be such a gap between where I am and where they are that it wouldn't even be logical, and it wouldn't even make sense. People are more interested in learning from people who maybe did the thing that they're trying to do today is the thing that you did last year, or the thing that you did 2 years ago, right? It's about helping each other make little incremental steps along the way, and there is decent money to be made in. So do not let fear or ignorance or perfectionism hold you back. Remember that it is okay to start small. So here is a quick 5-minute exercise that you can do right now to get started. Ready? Step number 1 is going to be grab a pen and a piece of paper and list your top 3 skills. Step number 2 is going to be write down the types of digital products that align with each of those skills. And then step number 3, circle the idea that excites you the most. Once you have this one idea that excites you the most, then you will have gained clarity in the best direction for you to move forward. You can use platforms like Teachable for online courses, Canva for creating digital prints, or Gumroad for selling things like ebooks, or like I said, Amazon earlier. At the end of the day, the most important part is to get started, okay? And let me tell you, let me break any, doubt or limiting beliefs that you have right now, because here are some facts. Fact number 1, your first product will not be the most incredible product ever, okay? It's probably gonna suck. Your first product is not going to get you to be able to quit your job or retire. It's not going to happen, okay? Your first digital product is not going to be perfect. My first digital product I ever built was, as I mentioned, a online course that is now freely available on my site. And I sold a total of, I think, 40 or 49 copies, and I made just under $2,000, okay? I ran for a few months. That was over the course of like 2 months, and it was not anything crazy. It was just, steps on how to build a WordPress website and then how to monetize that WordPress website, right? Didn't make me a ton of money, but I learned a ton of stuff from it. And since launching that first product, I've gone on to create more products that have continued to bring in more money, and I am currently in the process of still doing that. It's all about starting where you're at, doing what you can, and moving forward 1% at a time every day and just constantly improving. The most important point is progress over perfection. So do me a favor, tell me in the comments below, once you have done the 5-minute exercise where you've written down your top 3 skills, written down which products would work for them, circled the one that excites you the most, please tell me in the comments down below what you have chosen, what it is that you are going to start pursuing. Comment below, I will reply and help you get started, point you in the direction of resources, stuff like that, and I can't wait to see what you build. And if you found this video helpful, then you are definitely going to want to hit the subscribe button button, because in our next video that you're not going to want to miss, we are going to dive into the step-by-step process of how you can use ChatGPT to build your digital products for you. So you are not going to want to miss that. Hit subscribe, hit the like button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.